Welcome to the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation coordinating webinar. This is the next level in coordinating a C.A.S.T for Kids event, and we've tailored today's webinar to our veteran coordinators. I'm Jay Yellis, the Executive Director of the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation, and I'm going to pause just for a minute here while I wait for everybody to get signed into our webinar, and then we'll get started. I want to mention to everybody that this year, 2016, marks the 25th anniversary of the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation. It's remarkable. We've started our first event in 1991 in partnership with the Bureau of Reclamation, and we've held over 900 events and taken over 32,000 kids fishing in the last 24 years or 25 years. So we're pretty excited about our 25th anniversary this year, and that's something that we want to celebrate all year long. And thanks to the Bureau of Reclamation for being such a great partner, and still a great partner today through our 25-year history. Yesterday's webinar was tailored towards more of our new coordinators, and at the beginning of that one I shared our mid-range goal for C.A.S.T for Kids is to double the number of events that we hold nationally by 2018. And so if you or anybody that a friend or family member or anybody you know is interested in coordinating and starting up a new C.A.S.T for Kids event, please contact one of us at the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation. We would love to talk to them and make that happen to take more kids fishing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is Jay Yellis, the Executive Director of the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation. Welcome to the C.A.S.T for Kids Coordinator Training Webinar. And today's webinar is tailored specifically towards our wonderful veteran coordinators. Many of you have been doing this for years, some of you decades, and I just tip my hat to you and thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you've done for the kids over the years. It's phenomenal. The difference that you've made in the lives of these children all over the nation is truly incredible, and we thank you so much. Without you, these events wouldn't be possible. Today we're going to have an overview now of our presentation today, and joining me on the webinar, we're going to be joined by Jessica Kelly, our operations manager. She's up there in Renton, Washington at our main office, which is a suburb of Seattle. In Texas, we have Jim Benkin, our Western Program Director. And Jim is joining us today. Jim handles all of our events in the western half of the country. And finally, Jeff Barnes, our Eastern Program Director. He hails from Albertville, Alabama, and Jeff is our program director for everything on the eastern half of the United States. So we're all here. We have some great content. I thought yesterday's webinar went extremely well, and these folks have done a marvelous job in preparing some very useful content for our coordinators. An overview of today's webinar. Jessica is going to start out by talking about how to get more kids at the events and filling up the events with children, getting the full 40 children at each event. Jim will be following Jessica, and his topic will be increasing boater volunteers. This is an important topic because the boaters are very crucial to a successful event. Jessica is then going to talk on fundraising. Jeff is going to talk about event reporting, and then we'll have another question and answer session at the end of today's webinar. I thought yesterday's question and answer session was very useful, and it was a lot of great dialogue back and forth between our veteran coordinators and our new coordinators, and a lot of you shared some very useful information to help our new coordinators out. Thank you so much, and please, I encourage you all to use the chat box in the lower right-hand corner of your window to ask questions or make comments, and let's just work together and try to help each other out to put on the best possible event take these kids fishing. Um, you can ask your questions at any time during the webinar, but we won't answer them until the final portion of the webinar. But anytime a question pops in your mind, you're welcome to type it into that chat box and list the question. Okay, well, without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Jessica.
Hello, everyone. I am Jessica Kelly, the Operations Manager here at the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation. The mission of the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation is to take the kids fishing. This amazing experience that we provide at each event give kids the opportunity to do something they may have never done before. And we want to give that opportunity to as many kids as we can. Thus, we hope that your goal is to get the full field of 40 kids at your event, and we want to help you do that. The first step to getting 40 is to find the kids first. For those of you who have been running your event for more than 1 year, you have already started reaching out to various organizations, connecting with various community resources, partnering with your event sponsors and your past participants. Over time, some of those connections fail to send you any kids, your contact has moved, or you have exhausted your own ideas, and you still need more kids. In order to continually provide this opportunity to new families and to get to 40, we'd recommend that every year you work to find a new connection, or more, to make it happen. Let's start with examples of national or regional organizations whose focus is also all about kids. These could include the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, Special Olympics, the Ronald McDonald House, CASA for Children, blind or deaf centers, Down syndrome associations, or other special interest group foundations, to name a few. Looking online to see if any of these or others have a local chapter, club, or office near your event could be a great opportunity to find kids interested in attending your event. Community resources could include local hospitals or clinics whose focus is on family medicine, physical therapy offices, crisis center or foster and adoption agencies. You can also ask for support of local city government agencies such as parks departments, social services and court system, libraries, and schools' special education departments, all of which support the families you are trying to reach. Another way to find kids is to involve your event partners. Don't forget to utilize the groups that are supporting your event with funding. They can also be great in spreading the word about your event to families and organizations they know. Past participants can be a fabulous resource to you, as they have friends who are likely candidates to attend our events, and they are usually more than happy to share about the event to their friends. Each area has its own character, and some kids can be found through organizations only found in your area. Search them out. Your regional director is always a resource to help you find any of these organizations. The relationships that you build with the organizations that can provide kids to you will make it easier on your continuing efforts to finding new families year after year. So you've got a list of who you want to contact to find kids. How do you get the word out? Make contact with the key individuals in the organizations that you want to recruit kids from, whether that is the community development person, the president, the special education teacher. Send an email, give them a call, or even visit them in person to share about the event you are putting on for kids, and ask them if they'd be willing to help you spread the words to kids and families they know. Then work with them to find the best ways to spread the word within their organization. Make a flyer to hand out to these organizations, but also to other places in your community. Many businesses and public places have community bulletin boards. Try to pick 5 to 10 places to simply post the flyer. Collect emails of organizations and individuals who are interested in helping you recruit for your event. Send out the flyer in an email and send them reminders about the event. Also, lots of events have used various online methods to recruit for their event, including Facebook, LinkedIn, and listing the event on various websites that have community events listings. You can also send press releases to your local newspapers. Here at C.A.S.T, we have several example flyers that you can use to customize for your event. We also have example press releases for you to use. Please don't hesitate to ask your regional director for any or all of it. In your communications about the event, you will share how kids can sign up. Available to all C.A.S.T for Kids events, as most of you know, we have an online registration tool called Reg Online that we use to register the kids in advance of the event. This tool has many great features to help the coordinator prepare for the event. The best feature for helping to get all the kids to the event is the automatic email reminders. You are able to set up as many reminder emails as you want and schedule them for when you want to send them. For example, you can set a reminder to send 2 weeks before the event, another email set for 1 week before the event, then a final reminder 2 days prior to event day. That first email could be a reminder that they are registered and that if their plans change, to inform the coordinator as soon as possible to allow another family to attend, which they can do online, and the registration tool will automatically invite the next family using the waitlist feature. A second email could be a simple "looking forward to seeing you in 1 week" reminder, with that last email being a great time to include any final tips, such as remember to dress for the weather, or links to maps or parking passes they may need to print and bring with them. Please remember that with every new tool the C.A.S.T Foundation gains, like our new online registration tool, they do not replace our past methods that now we sometimes call old school. Picking up the phone to call and remind families that are registered, and even sending out snail mail, especially to those participants who are not online or do not have access to a computer, is very helpful in making sure those families show up on event day. The kids are the reason why we are spending the time and effort on putting this event together. Let's make sure that we get as many there as we possibly can. Quotes like this prove that everything you do is worth it.
It goes without saying that if you attract more children to your events, you will in turn need more boater volunteers. Our goal is to help you so you can bring thrills to as many children as possible. Coordinators of the past 24 years have developed some great methods for raising awareness of the upcoming events. Here we have listed a few of them. Most lakes that are large enough to have a C.A.S.T event also have boat dealers, tackle dealers, as well as on the water marinas, on the lake, or very nearby. Talk to them. Let them hear the passion you have for doing something special for children who, quite honestly, deserve a special day like you can provide for them. A person-to-person visit is best, so the passion you have resonates best to the people you would speak with. But a phone call may be all you need. It all depends on the individual person. Many boat dealers have pro staffs they can contact to come help serve as boaters. If you can bring people who fish the lake regularly, your chances of having every child catch fish the day of your event increase dramatically. As a coordinator, this may be one of only 2 ways that you yourself can have any control whatsoever in whether a child catches a fish at your event or not. These dealers, tackle shops, and marinas know who fishes your lake on a regular basis. Ask them to provide you with as many of those boaters as possible. We want to show these families of these children that getting out in the outdoors with them is something that not only is achievable the day of your event, but also for them to do themselves in the future. Catching fish the day of your event will give them the desire to do this together in the future as a family. The object of fishing is to catch fish, to feel the thrill. Seeing their child get excited, scream, maybe even cry in joy is the number one way that you as a coordinator can affect whether a family follows up after your event with a future day on the lake together. Put flyers at all these types of places. Spread the word through social media also. Every little bit helps. Boat dealers and marinas can also give you information as to who regularly frequents the lake in pontoon boats. If you have a number of wheelchair-restricted children, a few pontoons will definitely be needed. There is also a great likelihood that numerous fishing clubs hold events on your event body of water. Contacting club members is the final way that you as a coordinator can somewhat control the odds that a child will have an experienced boater to help them in their pursuit to catch fish. Bass, striper, and catfish clubs exist on many lakes. Contact them. Utilize the local talent. These guys know the lake well. Often, when you get one club member to commit to volunteer, many more will follow. At some events, clubs also donate money toward the event as well as provide their boating help. I went to the internet and searched some bass clubs that have events on some lakes where C.A.S.T events are regularly held. I found dozens more than what are listed here. However, much of the info out there have dead links that no longer direct you to active websites. I personally checked all the clubs listed here. As of late 2015, these are all active club websites. This webinar will eventually have a YouTube page as well as a link on our website to direct you to view this webinar again, or you can simply take a quick photo with your mobile device of these websites. If you'd like to contact the club listed here, these are listed not only state by state, but in the case of California, by region as well. So if you see a club with the name of a local lake or town and its web address, the club above or below it in the page is a good bet to be in close proximity as well. Send them an email, call them, and even check their tournament schedule to see if they hold events on or nearby your C.A.S.T events lake. Okay, let's say you've done a great job and have plenty of boats for your event. The kids came back with all kinds of stories of catching fish, maybe even a few fish were brought in to show off to everybody. You and your staff of volunteers went through a lot to get quality boaters to volunteer and show these kids the days of their lives. Here's a few things you can do to make it easier on yourself in the future. I actually saw an event in 2015 where a few of the boaters did not even know that they were invited to lunch and ceremonies. Make your boaters feel appreciated. Invite them to the meal. Acknowledge them at the ceremony. Besides, the more people there to cheer the kids as they receive their plaques and awards, the better. Make that ceremony a huge deal for those kids. They are the superstars this day. Consider purchasing extra plaques for the boaters. There's absolutely no better way to be certain that a boater will return in subsequent years than to give him a plaque with a photo of him or her with the child they took out. This particular photo shows the wall of a volunteer boater's office. He sees these plaques every day and is probably counting down the days till he can provide more thrills to another child. Other great options are C.A.S.T clothing, coffee mugs, and maybe even some donated tackle packs from a tackle sponsor. Finally, be organized. Fishermen are early risers. Most adhere to the tale that early bird gets the worm. They want to get out there and show these kids a great morning on the water. Accommodate them as best you can. If at all possible, pair up early arriving boaters with the earliest arriving children. This may mean an individual boater safety meeting is given by the C.A.S.T representative. That's never a problem. We want those kids on the water enjoying a day that is theirs. No one enjoys sitting around waiting for late arrivers before they themselves can enjoy their day. Reward the prompt arrivers. Let them go have fun. Be sure and keep a file with all the boater information for future years. Computer, hard drive, hey, whatever works for you. Finally, if you had a club send several boats to your event, ask to be put on their club newsletter. 1 or 2 congratulatory emails sent their way after seeing some tournament results during the year will let them know that you support them, much like they did you. Fishermen have egos. Hey, feed those egos. All right, let's move on to fundraising. Jessica has some great ideas to make your job much easier.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, let's review a moment. We've talked about how to get all 40 kids to the event. We've talked about how to get the boaters there and take those special kids fishing. Now, I'd like to talk to you about how we make sure this is an event that remains free to the kids and their families. Many of you are veteran coordinators and have already established a donor base for your event. To you, I would ask a couple questions. How many people in your town or city nearest to your event knows about C.A.S.T for Kids? Would you say 50%? 30%? Less? Another question. How many new people do you get to your event each year? Are half of the volunteers and kids new? A quarter? Or are they mostly the same every year? I'd like to pause a moment here and remind you of one of the goals of the C.A.S.T for Kids program. Here it is. Increase the awareness of all participants, parents, sportsmen, and volunteers to the capabilities of children with disabilities, in effect strengthening local communities. With that goal in mind, I would like to challenge each and every one of you to do 2 things. 1, increase the funds for your event so that you are able to improve your event in some way. Maybe invite 1 more kid, be able to buy fishy items for goodie bags, or add an educational shore activity. The second challenge I have for you is to raise funds to help the foundation so that we are able to help events that are struggling financially or to help kickstart new events in other areas in your state. The more money we have, the more ways we can continue to increase the awareness to new people in our communities of the capabilities of these special kids. All of us at C.A.S.T are here to help you with this challenge. Next, I would like to remind you of our proven method of raising funds for an event and share some ideas of where to ask for support. I hope that this refresher might spark some new ideas for you in searching out new ways to rise to the challenges I have given you. I am also excited to share with you our new and exciting fundraising platform called Peer-to-Peer Fundraising that is now available to you. Let's start with the proven model, which is one that is built by the community. The planning committee, led by the sponsorship chairperson, worked together to solicit funds from the community, building relationships, in hopes the donors will continue to support the event year after year. The foundation has many resources to assist you in reaching out to your community. Your regional director is available to help you brainstorm possible donors to ask. We have template solicitation letters for you to customize for your event, like the one seen here. You will be able to enter in your own event information and specific requests depending on who you are sending the letter to. Potential donors can include businesses, organizations, individual donors at any level, grants, and corporate sponsors. Let's talk about each of these in more detail. Let me give you some specific examples for each one. Any local business could be a sponsor. Professional offices such as your doctor or dentist office, realtor or insurance agents, banks, grocery stores, and restaurants, construction companies. The list goes on. Naturally, organizations like local fishing clubs, marinas or outdoor sports stores, environmental or wildlife preservation groups are great to ask. Local funding can also be found through grants provided by city foundations or private foundations in your area. One specific grant I will mention is Walmart. They have online grants that are fairly simple to fill out, and we'd be happy to get you the information you need to do that. Lastly, corporate sponsors are the big companies that sometimes have local stores with a community budget and are able to donate. The foundation has already built relationships with 2 corporate sponsorships, specifically Zebco and Plano, who provide rods and reels and the tackle boxes to each event. I want to take a moment to say that some events also include partnership with government entities, such as the Bureau of Reclamation, the Department of Water Resources, or the Corps of Engineers. Those events have specific arrangements with C.A.S.T to pay all or a portion of the event sponsorship fee. And the coordinator and the committee then work together to provide the funding necessary for the items not included. Let me give you a specific example of an event that is partnered with the Bureau of Reclamation. The coordinator of the event is a reclamation employee who is providing the main sponsorship fee. That coordinator then works with a local committee, which has members of reclamation employees and individuals volunteering from the local community. The community members are then utilized to help raise any additional funds needed or to find business or individual sponsors and in-kind donations to help run the event. Some examples include finding the funds for Service Club to provide the lunch, soliciting donations to buy items for the fun packs or goodie bags, life jackets, pop-up tents, etc. Every event is run by a coordinator with a committee. We recommend that there is a separate person who is in charge of soliciting funds for the event, the sponsorship chairperson. For Bureau of Reclamation events, that is a volunteer outside of reclamation. The reclamation coordinator is then responsible for working with this person along with all other committee members to make the event a success. Here at C.A.S.T, we strive to continually improve our program to ensure that more kids are given the opportunity to go fishing. In the fundraising arena, we have brought on a new modern opportunity for our foundation and for you, our family of coordinators. It is called peer-to-peer fundraising. Essentially, it is an online software that enables you and your committee to easily reach out to your network of friends and family through email, Facebook, or Twitter, asking them to help you fund the event. You are able to very easily ask your committee to be fundraisers, and they can share in their social network. You can spread the word to your donors and ask them to share in their social network. Does your event have 2 or more groups that you can initiate a friendly competition between? Challenge them to raise money to sponsor the most kids. All in all, the opportunity to share about C.A.S.T for Kids is huge. We hope you can see the power in it, that not only we will hopefully gain more donors, but gain more awareness about our program and hopefully find more people willing to host an event, which means more kids we get to take fishing. Want to stop for a moment to be clear that this is only one avenue open to you in fundraising for your event. This is not meant to replace your current methods. It is an opportunity to reach out to people who may not have heard about C.A.S.T and to utilize social media to hopefully make soliciting donations from individuals easier. Through this new platform, all donations are given online and go directly to the foundation, but will be credited to your event. You will still be able to take all your normal donations from businesses as you have in the past. All those checks donated that we'll call offline donations will be entered into the online campaign to help track the event total. Let me show you what it looks like. Each event will have their own campaign, where the coordinator and or the sponsorship chairperson will be able to become a fundraiser. They will then be able to invite others to become fundraisers themselves or ask for donations for the event. So here's a quick tour. The event name is on the campaign. There's a fundraising goal set, and the bar will automatically fill up when donations are made. There are 2 options for people. So you can see those 2 buttons: to become a fundraiser themselves to raise money within their network of friends and family, or to simply donate now. Scrolling down the page, we find an area for 5 photos and or videos. Each event will have 2 to 3 already in place, leaving 2 to 3 spots open for fundraisers to add their own photo or video if they would like. We have several general videos we can use, or we will use a video taken at your event. The fundraisers for this campaign are listed And you can see that Edward, who is one of our newest coordinators and youngest at the age of 15, is already signed up. When you click the Become a Fundraiser button, you are taken to a simple form that you can customize for your own campaign, which includes putting in your own appeal and photos. You can invite your volunteers, boat captains, and maybe even parents of the participants to become fundraisers. You never know who will want to support the event. Here is Edward's fundraising page. Your regional director, Jeff, Jim, or I are available to you anytime to help set it up or to answer any of your questions. Scrolling down to the bottom, you can see that each fundraiser is able to share their own message on their page about why they are raising money for C.A.S.T. or why C.A.S.T. is important to them. When you're done setting up your fundraising page, you are then able to share it through email, Facebook, or Twitter. Another fabulous feature of this platform is the automatic emails. Each donor is sent a thank you email, of which you are able to customize the text. Because this peer-to-peer platform is so new to us, we will have lots of opportunities this year to try out different ideas on different ways to use it. You can simply use it to ask for donations. You can use it to encourage your committee to sign up to be fundraisers. You can use it to find individual sponsors for your event. As we go along, if you have any ideas, please call us and share them. We'd love to hear them. One question we thought would come up I wanted to answer. What if I raise more than the sponsorship fee? The money will be kept in your account spreadsheet for next year's event. You may also choose to donate a portion or all of the leftover funds to the Foundation's general fund, where we could use it for another event that is struggling or kickstart a new event nearby. Whatever method or ways you choose to raise money for your event, I hope that you feel that it is a task worth doing and one that is attainable. Also remember that this is a great area to split up between many committee members and give each person a few businesses to approach or set up a fundraising page online and send it out to their social network.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm Jeff Barnes, the Eastern Regional Director for C.A.S.T for Kids, and I'm going to be talking about event reporting, post-event reporting. Documenting your efforts is as important as any other phase of the event. The C.A.S.T Foundation's website is key in showing your event and the results of your efforts. It also plays a significant role in showing the impact the program has on the community and your participants. As you continue to grow your program each year, that effort is made much easier when a potential sponsor, volunteer, or voter group can go to a website and see what you have done in the past. We recommend that you set aside time after event day to collect everything for your event report. The most powerful are the images you collect. Send the best ones to your regional director, trying to include at least one photo of each participant and volunteer, so everyone can see themselves at the event. They expect to see them posted the week following the event, and the longer it takes, the more they will lose interest. Media reports. Send links to any media report done by newspaper or TV as soon as they happen, so we can share them as soon as possible. We love to share those online links on your event page on the C.A.S.T website and our social media channels to get the most exposure of your event. Within 2 weeks after your event, we ask that you send the full event report to your regional director or the remaining items that you have yet to send. The full report includes statistics from the event, the actual number of kids in attendance, the number of boat captains, and the number of shore volunteers that attended. Next, Provide a brief summary of the event, including any highlights or special features that made the event memorable. We do our best to search for any media reports on all events, but we would appreciate your help in sharing any reports of your event so we may share them online and in our newsletter and other marketing materials. The list of sponsors includes all those who are included on the back of the t-shirts. Again, those photos are so important in showcasing the wonderful memories made that day. Because they are so important, we are flexible and open to a variety of ways of transferring them from you to us. Our preference is to get them online, shared through programs like Box, Dropbox, Your Flickr, SmugMug, or other photo sharing account. If you only have a few, email works, or you can burn them on a disk and mail it to us. One more thought to share. The C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation sends out a survey through the same system that we use for our online registration. The survey is automatically emailed to everyone who signed up online, and the link to the survey is put on the website for those who didn't. The coordinator can direct everyone at the event to go to the website to take the survey if they don't receive an email with the link. I share this as one of the best parts of the survey is the comments parents, volunteers, and boaters leave. They share their ideas to improve the event, and they share their favorite moments from the day. Lots of parents shout out a thanks to their boat captain, and what a better way to make sure that boat captain feels appreciated after the event is over than to copy that quote and email it to him or her. Recently, I did just that, and the boat captain replied to tell me that he'd like to take them out fishing again. So I connected them, and they have gone out again on their own. The impact you have as a coordinator of a C.A.S.T for Kids event is easy to see on event day. We want to be sure that the final step of completing the event report doesn't take too much of your time, yet still we have the means to remember the day.
Thanks, Jeff. This is Jay again, back on the webinar, and that's kind of brings us to the conclusion of our webinar. And again, a heartfelt thank you to all of you coordinators for your time and efforts over the years of blessing these kids. I know we have a lot of veteran coordinators on this call. The staff and I were chatting before this webinar about who is our longest tenured coordinator right now with the Bureau of Reclamation. The Bureau of Reclamation is who we started with in 1991. I don't think any of you have been around the whole time, but I think I'm just kind of curious if, Brenda, I know you've been at it a long time down there in Arizona, and you were my guest, but if you would chat in there how many years you've been coordinating, I would love to honor whoever is our longest tenured coordinator today. Little story to go with this picture here. On this page, we have this little fellow. This actually was down there at Lake Pleasant in Arizona last year, the Bureau of Reclamation event that last April. And this little guy, he had never been anywhere near a body of water, hadn't been fishing ever before, let alone in a boat. And this wonderful boat captain took this young man and his mom out, and they had a phenomenal day. They were so excited when they came in. They caught, as you can see, they had a great day of bass fishing on Lake Pleasant, and that little boy was so excited. He was talking to his mama about how he wanted to get his own boat, and she has emailed me since then about how he still has not stopped talking about the C.A.S.T for Kids event last April, and he's still bugging her all the time to buy a boat. So I expect we may see him back there at Lake Pleasant again on March 26th this year, our opening event for the year. But there's thousands of examples similar to this that happen out there, and kids just come out of their shell and they learn what they can do. I mean, it opens their mind to, gosh, if I can go fishing and boating and catch fish, there's no telling what I could do with my life. And so it really helps to open their mind, and brings them great joy to be able to experience the thrill of doing new things. And that new thing just happens to be catching fish at Cast for Kids events and going for boat rides. So, um, okay, let's move on to our question and answer session, and all of us on the staff are available to answer your questions. And we've got, oh boy, um, I've got some great feedback coming in. Valerie says that she's been doing events since 1996, and I guess I don't know if that she would probably be our longest tenured coordinator. Then Valerie, that's amazing. 1996, golly, 20 years. That's pretty amazing. I knew that there was somebody out there that had been around for 20 years. So, well, thank you so much. I know several of the events have been in place with the Bureau of Reclamation for 20 years, several of our locations, but coordinators have come and gone over the years, but some of them, like Valerie's, been around for 20 years. That's amazing. So I just want to honor you, Valerie, today, and thank you for all that you've done for the kids. It's a mountain of work, and but I know just a true joy, and something that you thoroughly enjoyed, and been probably very gratifying to you to see the difference you've made in the lives of these kids. So thank you for doing that. And if there's one of you coordinators out there listening that's, you're maybe at 16 or 17 years of running CAST events, well, hang in there. You can break Valerie's record. Anyway, let's move on to some questions. Heather Burke asks, will you be posting these webinars on your website? We have a number of staff who were unable to attend but would like the info. Yes, Heather, we will be doing just that. In fact, yesterday's webinar is already posted on our website and YouTube channel. So I believe we have 2 YouTube channels. You might just make sure you find the correct one. But Jessica already has posted those from yesterday, and today's webinar will most likely be posted tomorrow or by early next week at the absolute latest. So we've recorded these in hopes that other folks will be able to tune in and gain some valuable information by listening to the recordings.
I have one thing to add, Jay. On that note, all of you will receive an email after the webinar is over when the replay recording is ready, and you will be able to forward that email, I believe, to anybody who'd like to watch it. So I think that's another option to you, and I definitely will be getting it up on the website as soon as I'm able to get that link as well.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm just chuckling at all your chats, you guys, you wonderful coordinators, talking about it's kind of some great humor in there. But thank you, Brenda. I know your office at Lake Pleasant's been running your Bureau of Reclamation office there at Lake Pleasant's been holding CAST events for 17 years. That's amazing. William has a question here about maybe having a question and answer page that people can go to on the website. And I'm not sure. Jessica could probably answer that about the question and answers in this webinar if they'll be on the website. Go ahead.
Thank you, William. That's a great idea, and I actually like that idea a lot. Maybe I'll ping you later and see what ideas of questions you might have. I think I definitely have that idea of adding a page on our website of an FAQ page. And so, yeah, maybe I'll send an email out to you guys and ask for your input on what questions you think should be included.
Okay, let's looking for more questions.
Hey Jay,
Anisha,
Jay,
yeah, go
William
ahead.
replied back with a question. It could be updated by us somehow? Question mark. I'm not sure about that. I will have to ask my computer website guru guy to see what ideas he might have about that. We'll see. I'll see what options I've got out there. I know that there's a blog kind of idea for a website that people could interact with more. So I will look into that.
Thanks, Jessica. Anisha asks, is there a forum where all the coordinators could chat back and forth to get ideas from each other? And I'm assuming this is over time, anytime during the year. And that's, like Jessica just alluded to, Anisha, we'll look at maybe putting something like that on our website where you guys could constantly be chatting and getting feedback from each other and asking questions. That's a very good idea, like a forum sort of situation. I'm familiar with those. Great idea. Okay, let's see. We've got some more great questions coming in here. Yeah, Valerie suggests that possibly a blog might work for coordinator chat forum or maybe a forum. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. I see Valerie's comments about security, so we will examine that and we'll let you guys know the answer. But those are great questions. Now, Bill, I'm glad you chimed in. 20 years at the Bureau of Reclamation event at Horsetooth in Colorado. I know you haven't been the coordinator for 20 years, but you've been attending the event, volunteering, collecting boats, boaters, and just basically doing all kinds of wonderful things to help there. And so I'd like to tip my hat to you as well. It was a pleasure getting to meet you at your event last summer, and thank you for all that you've done. Not just you, but your bass club also has attended the event and been the lion's share of the volunteer boaters. So I can't remember the name of your club. It's one of the best. I know it's the best bass club in Colorado, though. That's for sure. So thank you, Bill, for being around for 20 years and volunteering at Cats for Kids events. We're looking for some more questions on, yesterday, I think most of you coordinators were on the call or on the webinar yesterday. And I mentioned that one of the things I wanted to stress was that it was just greeting the children in the morning and how important that is to make them feel welcome right off the bat and let them know that, hey, we are all here just for you. And just, having people assigned to being greeters, could be, young high school kids or, anybody with a lot of energy and a warm smile would be a great greeter. And just to remind the greeters that the kids will come straggling in over the 2-hour period. And so just to be ready for them. We don't want the kid that's off to the rough start, that is not feeling well, but he musters the energy to show up to the event, even though he's, say, an hour and a half late. We don't want him to not be greeted just because we're busy doing other things. In fact, that kid probably deserves the warmest greeting of any of the children that showed, because he probably made the greatest effort to come, because he probably didn't feel well that morning. And so I just wanted to remind everybody about that. I just think it's all about these kids. They're the heroes of the day. We just want to make it so special for them. So a nice warm welcome goes a long way there. And I know a lot of you already do that at your events, and thank you for doing that. Okay. Let's see. We've got looking for more questions about the lunch. Oh, Teresa was complimenting Bill for all the great lunch he serves at Horsetooth, and that is a fantastic lunch. I'll say I got to enjoy that last summer. Yeah, there are situations. I'm reading Valerie's comments about about children that may have be in an abusive situation, and they may be hiding from an abusive situation. If you do have kids like that are, especially like foster kids, please, we want to not photograph them and put them on social media. So we need to definitely mark those kids with a certain color of name tag at the beginning of the day, and then the photographer, remind the photographer not to use them, and then also in our editings at the C.A.S.T main office, we will if you'll help us make note of that, we can also look for those name tags to be sure not to publicize those kids, because we are sensitive to the fact that some kids, foster kids especially, are they're not wanting the abusive party to know where they're at. So yeah, and also Valerie has a great comment. We also don't want anyone to join the event who hasn't signed up ahead of time. And that's true. We don't want walk-ups the morning of the event. I'll turn that over to Jim. Would you like to answer that, since you're a program director, about walk-ups and people that aren't signed up?
Absolutely, it can be a problem. You know, and I'm not quite sure the right avenue to address this. I mean, you definitely want to have everyone register for it, and there's always some at every event, and you just have to handle it with kind of delicate care. I mean, let them know that, hey, we've got people that registered that came to this event. We're committed to helping them. We've allocated the right amount of food and awards for these people, and it's going to be difficult. We'll do everything we can to accommodate you at the end, but for right now, we need to worry about the kids that are registered and there, and feed them and make sure we're good in that regard. You know, that's all I can come up with. But there's always going to be some that show up uninvited. I mean, that's just how it is, you know.
And also, regarding Brenda's comment, that she feels the same way for boaters that show up at the last minute without pre-registering, or contacting the boat coordinator ahead of time to let them know that they're going to come. Jeff, I'll let you talk about that, but we definitely want to know who the boaters are going to be, and we need them to pre-register or at least verbally talk on the phone with the coordinator. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, that's another good concern, and I think that's something that in preparation for your event, working with your committee chairperson that's over the boaters, you know, make sure that they have their boaters signed in ahead of time. And I think anybody that does show up, you can invite them to register for the next year's event. It will probably be the safest avenue.
Okay, Ben Davis, a great coordinator with the Corps of Engineers down in Mississippi, has a valuable piece of information he shared with us here. That he's used a website called 4motion.com, and it works very well with communicating and sharing ideas within a group that is spread all over the country. So thank you for that input, Ben. We'll look into that, to 4motion.com, and we'll look at that. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for all these great ideas and tips, and keep them coming. That's what we're here for. Bill recognized the Centennial Bass Club of Northern Colorado, and they are the ones that make the Horsetooth Bureau of Reclamation event happen. Thanks to the Centennial Bass Club, and especially to Bill. Right. Valerie says when people show up, if we have walk-ups the morning of the event, that she has said they'll put them down for next year and thanks them for their interest and invited them to next year's event. That's always a great way to handle walk-ups too. Anisha is asking if we can give the email addresses for all the coordinators. We could chat a little that way before we get the forum up and running. Yeah, apparently you guys really want to. We would like to meet the demand that's out there amongst our coordinators to facilitate your communication. So we can do that, Anisha. And in fact, in the email when I emailed the link out to this webinar, all our coordinators are in that, but there's also about 30 or 40 other email addresses that are not coordinators. So we can put a list together of our coordinators. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Talking about the longest tenured coordinators, Teresa just mentioned that the Bureau of Reclamation coordinator Sherry Harrell at Lake Shasta in California has been coordinating for her event for close to 20 years. And Sherry Kolbecker, who coordinated in Idaho for at least 15 years with the Bureau of Reclamation there at Black Canyon and Walcott. So that's pretty special. Thanks to Sherry, the Sherrys, for their service to the kids. Another good question. Teresa's asking here. She's asking the coordinators, what is your most challenging part of your coordination duties with reclamation? You guys can type your answers in to give Teresa some feedback there. David asked, do most events have their lunches catered or have volunteer cooks that serve? And Jeff, would you like to address that, please?
Yeah, I will. Hey, David. Yeah, on the lunches on these events can be just about any type of thing I've seen. A lot of the coordinators partner with the local restaurant or local uh, grocery store and have food donated, and restaurants donate food. Some of them have the food donated and then use different Civitan clubs to come in and cook the food, prepare the food. So the range of lunch is can be anything, uh, hot dogs and chips all the way up to barbecue. And we had an event last year where we had jambalaya and all kinds of good stuff. So it's whoever you partner with in your local community to get it done, and it doesn't have to be extravagant, but it certainly can be. It's whatever you want to make with your event. I hope that answers your question, David.
Thanks, Jeff. And Annette asked a question to Jessica. Her question is, in her region, she's within the Pacific Northwest region with the Bureau of Reclamation. They have a few new employees who will be assisting with C.A.S.T this year. Will you be able to give them a training on Reg Online? I'll turn that question over to Jessica.
Yes, Annette, definitely. And just for everybody's awareness, I am continuing to be the person who will be giving all training on Reg Online. I have a fabulous goal to try to put together some training videos on Reg Online, so hopefully that will be helpful to the most of you, the veteran coordinators who just need a little reminder about where things are. But Annette, for those who are new to the program, if you'd like to, if all of them are available to do like a group training, that would be lovely. And if you'd like to set that up and let me know when they're available to do that, or set up some time, send me an email. We can work that out and get that put together.
Okay, thank you, Jessica, for that answer. Yeah, Reg Online is a great tool. We've had so many chats and questions come in that if I have not answered yours and I've happened to overlook it, if you would retype your question at this time, that would be very helpful. Bill, Teresa's asking if you would share your experience with the horse-tooth lunch and see if we can get some response on that. Apparently that's, that was a great one. Maybe there's some tips on the lunch that you could share with some other coordinators. Yeah, most of the events have people that cook and serve, and they cook for anywhere from 250 to 300 people at some events, the events that are close to being full with the full 40 kids. That's the kind of the you need to plan that way. Yeah, so William asked, are we able to go in and register or start our Reg Online page? Jessica, is he able to do that at this time?
William, the process for Reg Online is that I set it up for you because our the events are basically I've basically set up a general event already, and then then together you and I will customize it for your event. So I set it up for you and then give you access with your own username and password, and then you'll go in and customize it for your event, and then I go in and make it live and put the link on our website, and then it's good to go at that point.
Great. There's been some quite more questions pop up here from Brenda and Valerie about the social media and trying to protect a few kids that don't want to have any exposure. And they are pointing out, both of those folks have pointed out that with GoPro cameras and iPhones and Garmin Verbs and all sorts of new technological portable cameras, that a lot of the footage from the events, people that just come to the event, participants and voters, they're collecting video footage and then posting it on social media. And so a disclaimer, Brenda says that she has, for her event in Arizona, she is putting a disclaimer on the entry form that they will do our best to if honor your request of not having your photo published, and we surely can't, we can guarantee it won't be on the C.A.S.T website, but it could show up somewhere on social media from another person that was attending the event that didn't know what was going on. So a disclaimer might be a good idea.
Yeah, and I definitely echo those sentiments that Brenda does. I saw it on there that she put it on her Reg Online registration, and I just if anybody else wants the verbiage that she used, please let me know, and I will just copy it over onto your event. Just remind me, but if you want it on yours. But I agree, Brenda did a great job on that.
Anisha is asking, how long before my event should Reg Online be up? Jessica?
My suggestion is about 3 months. It depends on your event and what you think the people, where you're getting your kids from. But I think that's kind of a magic number, because then most people won't forget about it. Because if it's too much longer than 3 months before the event, you have a high probability that a lot of people are going to forget they even signed up. So if it's open 3 months before the event, most people will remember to go. And that still gives you plenty of time to find enough kids before you want to order all of your equipment and t-shirts. And you should hopefully have all your kids signed up before you order your t-shirts, so you'll know what sizes to order for them.
Great. Bill sent some feedback in about his great lunch at Horsetooth. He said they used to, in the early days, they used to have some boaters that were taking participants fishing. They would come in early to cook, but that didn't work so well because the kids were losing out on fishing time. So they decided to just have their lunch catered the last few years with a local barbecue restaurant. That's what's worked well for them at their Bureau of Reclamation event at Horsetooth Lake. There's a good question here from William. Are there any requirements that you have for boater background checks, or is that the responsibility of the boater coordinator to screen? And Jim, I'll let you answer that one.
Absolutely. I don't know of anything out there to protect in that regard. That's one of the reasons you want to try, if possible, to go through local bass clubs and stuff. Most everybody vouches for everybody else. I mean, if you're in a club, you're around a bunch of, so to speak, good old boys that enjoy fishing, enjoy showing people a good time. So it's also a good thing to go through like I said in the deal yesterday, go through the marinas and stuff and talk to people and just have them refer people to you that you get 2 or 3 people refer one person, he's a pretty good guy, so that is always a fear, And so that's why I say try to go through some club affiliated deals to get your boaters, and that way there's other people there to kind of vouch for them, you know.
Thank you, Jim. That's a great answer, and we've never had a problem at an event with that. But it's always pays to be diligent, and it would just be too much extra work. I've done some coaching in my life for my kids, and I've had to have background checks, and it would be a massive amount of work for you coordinators to have to do background checks on all these boaters, and so it's just good to use the bass clubs and have guys that are known by the other boaters. That's the key, and that's what we've always done, and we'll just try to continue to do that. Anisha asked, what are the miles that we should try to get kids from within, say, 50 miles, 100 miles of the event? And Jeff, you want to handle that, please?
Yeah, I can. Some locations for the event, it's a little easier. There's to get, kids from the local area, but don't be surprised that I've seen examples where there's been kids that have traveled over 100 miles to an event. And the unfortunate thing about that, it usually falls on the responsibility of the parent. If the parent would be willing to bring their child, make the effort to bring their child that far to an event. But I think in most cases it's within 50, 70 miles of your location. But it could definitely be farther than that. I've seen examples of that in the past.
Okay. All right. Any other good questions that you folks would like to ask? I'm trying to sort through all these chats and see if I've missed any questions. Don't believe that I have. So I guess I knew this webinar would be a little bit shorter than yesterday's, but it was great input from everybody and great feedback. And we will probably the best thing out of this is if we can get some sort of forum or blog going where you guys can communicate with each other on our website. And we're actually in the process of building a new website right now, and it should be out fairly soon. Jessica is highly involved in that, and with the gentleman that's building our new website. But we're really excited about it. It'll be a new look for C.A.S.T, much improved, and a nice WordPress site. So we will look at adding that, or some way for you coordinators to communicate with each other on our new website, and hopefully bring that out soon. And in the meantime, I will try to get email addresses for each of you so that you can communicate. That's a great idea. Here's another question from William. If we do have 40 kids, what is the number I should plan for the meals? And I know you're going to want to plan between like 250 to 300 for the 40 kids. Believe it or not, several of our other events around the country, when they have that many kids, that's what they shoot for, is a minimum of 250 people. You have to think each kid is going to come with their parent, and then they're going to usually have a sibling or another parent come, and so you've got at least three people for each participant, and so that's 120. Then you've got your volunteer boaters, which is for another 40, plus a lot of times they bring a spouse or another family member. Then you have all your shore volunteers, and which some events have more shore volunteers than others, but you can count it up, and you just want to make sure you have enough. We've had, from time every now and then, we'll have an event run out of food, and that's always a bummer when the boaters they come in from taking the kids out and they don't have enough to eat, to go around. So better to be on the safe side, but just do realize that most kids, I've seen one participant show up with 6 family members before, that mom, dad, and 3 siblings, and you want to be able to have a serving for each one of those. So, but that's rare, but that does happen. Okay. Yes, Annette great new addition to the C.A.S.T coordinator family. Welcome, Annette. And I think you're going to love it. Just wait till the day of your event. It's amazing. Yeah. Want to recognize Annette Ross for sending out 1,400 thank you notes. Absolutely. That's that's amazing. Thank you. Um, we I know I want to work especially hard. There's one event we had at Walcott in eastern Idaho last year. We want to spend especially focus on that one this year, because I attended that event last year and there was not a single fish caught. And then I found out from the folks there that the year before there was only one fish caught. So that's one fish in 2 years of events. And so Jim Bankin and I have talked about, we really want to help get the local bass clubs involved and get some boaters there that really know how to fish that lake. And we're going to make an extra effort there. That's an unusual problem. Most of the places we go, there's dozens, if not hundreds, of fish caught during our event. And I think the fish are in that lake, Walcott. We just need boaters that know how to catch them out of there. Unless there's no, I don't know. I mean, I've heard.
I see one more question.
Sure.
From Swede, can we get a list of C.A.S.T for Kids events and locations and dates? So I wanted to address that real quick if I could. So the website, since we are switching over to a new website fairly soon, I haven't taken the time yet to put all of the events up on our website, the current one we have. I am taking some time to put a few up there that are coming up soon, but once we flip over to the new website, which should be shortly in the next week or two, I hope, then all of the events will be up there, and you'll be able to see all of the C.A.S.T for Kids, where they are, and the dates. So, well, for all the dates that we have, there are still many events that are choosing their date for 2016. In general, most events tend to keep their date on the same weekend every year, so you can kind of get a gauge that way, and you can look at the 2015 date and kind of gather when they might have it in 2016, and most people will be picking their date in the next month or so.
Yes, if you haven't picked your date, please do it as soon as you can. That really helps us with planning. Yeah, so I know Anisha's out there in Idaho, and yeah, that's some areas are much more populated than others. You know, Fort Collins, Colorado is a lot more people than Burley, Idaho. So if you're at an event that's sparsely populated, yeah, folks may drive a long ways. In fact, I remember at the Burley at Lake Walcott, we had guys drive in from Boise. Boaters came from Boise. I mean, that's a 2.5-hour drive to be a boater for that event, and I tip my hat to those gentlemen and thank them for coming. And it takes a special person to drive that far. And I had one guy drive up from Utah that was a boater at that event last year. So, yeah, for the more remote locations, people are going to have to travel. Okay, I don't see any other questions. We'll field one more question here if someone would like to chat a question into us. If not, we'll move on, and thank you. I just want to thank everybody again for their great questions and great input on the chat session, and thank Jessica and Jim and Jeff for their time and effort in putting this presentation together. Great job by everyone, and hopefully some great information. And these will have been recorded and will be on our website. And anytime any of you have a question, we're always just an email or a phone call away. You're welcome at any time. We're here to serve you, and so anytime you need us, we're here. Just reach out, and we'll get right back to you. Teresa asks, there's one more question here. Let's see, a couple more questions. Brenda asks, is the new website going to change the link for the registrations? Jessica, could you address that, please?
Sure. I will say just to everybody that for those who already have a link to their registration going, don't worry about it. I already have. I know that that's a slight little hiccup, and I will be making it work. The link doesn't need to change. I know that your flyers are already out there with the link. It's not going to change that. Well, I'll just be redirecting those folks to come to the new page, so that's not a problem. I do want to say also that the new website is going to make those links shorter. It's going to be super nice, so your flyers will look better. But anyway, so yeah, don't worry about that. The new website hopefully it'll be just completely seamless. And nobody will even know the difference.
Great, thanks, Jessica. We had Bill with a little more feedback on the lunch, and I'm just going to read his chat. He says, I figure on 250 people for lunch for our 40-kid event, and you will always have a few extra mouths to feed. He says, we pay $150 to the restaurant who caters, and that's a deal for feeding 250 people. That's like 60 cents per plate. But there are a lot of very generous restaurants out there that would cater, and especially for a children's event such as this, if you ask around, a lot of times you can get the food donated or pay a few $100s, a couple, maybe $100 to $300 to have a lunch catered. Teresa had a great idea. I like her idea about her question is, any ideas on how to promote the C.A.S.T event in our Bureau of Reclamation offices? What about creating a photo album to leave at the regional directors or regional areas desk for the staff to look at? And that would be a great PR piece, Teresa. Wonderful idea. And maybe put a little photo album together, or even I don't know what they're called, but Jessica, you have one in your office up there it's like a digital picture that rotates. What?
Oh yeah, I created one of those photo frames. It's a picture frame that's the pictures rotate on it. It's a digital photo frame. Yeah, it might be. That would be extra special.
That would be extra special. Yeah.
That's a super nice gift I got from my husband. But I agree with you that Teresa's idea is a great one, to have those photo albums, like a Shutterfly or even you can make one through a lot of other kinds of online websites. I don't know, up here in Washington we have Costco. I can't remember where else Costco is, but anyway, the photo plate. Lots of photo places now let you make quick and easy photo albums, and you can just stick some photos in from the last 5 years and print it out, have them print it out and send it to you. Those are pretty inexpensive and a great way to share about the event, because the photos are the best way to share it.
Yeah, great idea about Teresa. Jim, I have a question for you. William asks, if we cannot find enough disabled kids, can we have disadvantaged or low-income kids? I think William's putting on an event up in South Dakota this year at Angostura, with Bureau of Reclamation event there.
Yes, absolutely, William. What we specialize at the foundation is disabled, special needs, and disadvantaged. So absolutely. I mean, in remote areas, you're not going to be around enough population to get 40 disabled children. But basically, we want to take kids fishing that just don't have the opportunity in the past. So yeah, absolutely, disadvantaged are absolutely welcome, no question.
Brenda has a great tidbit of a tip for us. She says, I create a photo book for each year of my event through my publisher after the events for folks to look through. So that's something else to look into, is my publisher. Digital frame is an awesome idea. Shutterfly is easy, William says. Yeah, all of those are great ideas. So excellent feedback. Thank you, people, so much. You guys are great. Great ideas, and really great ideas to have those floating around the office. Jim mentioned that earlier today about, in his presentation on recruiting, getting more boaters, of getting a plaque to each boater so they can hang them on their wall and with their photograph of them with their child fishing. And as they look at those plaques, they're reminded about what a great time they had, and they look anxiously forward to the coming year's C.A.S.T for Kids event. And the same thing holds true with the in the reclamation offices there. So and other agencies that we work with, like the Department of Water Resources and the Corps of Engineers and the BLM. So those are great ideas. Thank you guys so much for that, and we'd love to make something like that possible. Okie doke. All right, I guess that was the last question. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you all for joining us on our webinar today. I'm Jay Ellis, the Executive Director of the C.A.S.T for Kids Foundation, and on behalf of Jessica Kelly, Jim Bankin, and Jeff Barnes, we thank all of you for joining us today and listening, but also for your great feedback in our chat session. Thank you all for coming, and have a great afternoon.